Okay, so Medea's family reunion opens with like the credit sequence where Tyler Perry's name appears like 80 different times.
Like on purpose to look stupid, or like just
because he loves himself that much. The first sequence is like Tyler Perry Production Company presents
Tyler Perry
with Lionsgate, Tyler Perry's Medea's family reunion, a Tyler Perry production starring Tyler Perry, written and produced by Tyler Perry.
Oh my God.
And directed by Tyler Perry. I was like, where is he going to appear within this movie? Because he appears as Madea, and then he appears as Medea's lawyer. He appears as Medea's brother. And I thought he was going to keep appearing, but it's just those three.
He's so like Vice-Ganda. Bruh.
Yes. I can't give you a play-by-play, but the overall plot, Madea is not a main character. The main characters are the sisters Lisa and Vanessa. So Lisa and Vanessa, their mom is named Victoria, and their mom is a terrible person, but we'll get to that later. So Lisa is engaged to a dark-skinned man who runs bank. And Vanessa, on the other hand, has 2 kids from 2 different baby daddies. And she lives with Madea. Dark-skinned man is actually abusive.
Oh.
And he beats Lisa every day.
Leave him.
And so Lisa tells her mom, Victoria, hey, I'm getting beaten every day. I don't want to do this anymore. And her mom, Victoria, is like, you have to do certain things to make it in life. You have a cushy life. Just do what he asks and you'll be okay.
Oh my God.
And so Lisa is stuck in this engagement.
Would she say that?
Meanwhile, Vanessa has just started, like, not so much hanging out, but befriending this bus driver named Frankie, who is light-skinned. That'll be important later. Frankie is great because he's a Christian and he also has a son.
Okay.
To complement her son and daughter from 2 different baby daddies. Meanwhile, Madea gets called to court.
Oh, Lord.
And the judge basically says, you can either go to jail or be the foster mom of Kiki Palmer. I think Kiki Palmer's character is either named Kelly or Gina. I can't remember which.
Those are 2 different names.
I know. I can't remember which. I'm pretty sure it's Kelly.
Baby, this is Kiki Palmer. This is motherfucking Kiki Palmer.
Madea foster parents Kelly. She beats her up a little bit in the car. And then basically Kelly's like, I don't want to go to school because people make fun of me. So Madea is all like, okay. And she gets on the bus and defends Kelly and then beats up a random kid with weird old headphones. You know those old headphones mom has? It's literally the same exact pair of headphones.
The Walkman headphones?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Vanessa and Mr. Frankie, they become a serious item. But they agree not to have sex before marriage because they're both Christian. Lisa admits to Vanessa that she is being beaten up by, I forget his name. But so Madea comes in, realizes what's going on, and basically explains to Lisa that, you know, if you're in an abusive marriage, sometimes you gotta make breakfast, and then pour the hot grits in his face.
Please tell me she, like, literally does that.
And then beat him with a pan.
Okay.
Vanessa freaks out because she stays over at Frankie's house and he disappears with her kids. They really just went to get ice cream. Frankie's like, I love you. Meanwhile, Victoria, their mom, right? Vanessa and Lisa's mom. It's discovered that she
Fights Madea.
Has promised Lisa to evil dark-skinned man because she has been dipping into Lisa's trust fund since her husband died. Basically, Vanessa's from her first marriage to an artist guy, and Lisa is from her second marriage to a rich man. That rich man left Victoria nothing, but he left Lisa a huge trust fund.
Okay.
And her mom has been dipping into the trust fund since he passed away a couple years before this. So basically, evil dark-skinned man tells Victoria that she has to bring Lisa home or else he's going to cut her out of the trust fund.
Okay, as if she was ever in the trust fund.
Well, no, because he's been letting her dip into the trust fund.
But, like, he's not part of the trust fund.
No, but he runs the bank that controls all the money.
Oh, got you. But that's illegal. Anyways, that's stupid.
Anyway.
Go on.
Anyway, for the family reunion...
Oh, I forgot this is about a family reunion.
No, literally, the family reunion lasts like 15 minutes.
Why did
in
they call
this
it?
almost 2-hour movie.
Why?
We're almost at the family reunion, though. So Lisa is living at Medea's house with Vanessa, right? She comes to Medea's house, and it's basically revealed that she let her her dead husband, now dead husband, sexually assault Vanessa in order to keep him from leaving her.
What the frick?
No, literally, this movie is like terrible.
Isn't this supposed to be a comedy?
Right? Moving on, it's the family reunion, and their great-grandma, Aunt Ruby, is there. She's like 96. And then Aunt Ruby takes a tour of the family reunion, and she walks out and she sees these guys playing, literally, I'm gonna show this to you later, but like she sees guys playing dice and like they're gambling, and then they're like start fighting, and then she sees a bunch of girls dancing. And it's also the stupidest, funniest thing ever.
Why did she see people dancing?
No, they're dancing to like hip hop, and like one girl is grinding up on someone, and everyone's tied their family reunion shirts up to crop tops.
Oh my god.
And then so they get to the house, this like old rundown house, and they're standing there, and one of Aunt Ruby's daughters gets up there and gives this speech about, she's like, "You guys are desecrating it with your gambling and your being half naked and dancing to the rap music." So it's the wedding. It's the day of the wedding. Lisa runs away from evil dark-skinned man again. She runs to Medea's house. Madea is like, "You need to start fighting for yourself. We can't help you anymore. You have to fight for yourself, girl." And Madea leaves with Keke Palmer and Joe, her brother, who's also played by So Vanessa makes the grits, throws them on her evil dark-skinned husband, and beats him with a pan. We love to see it. She shows up to the wedding, obviously not dressed, and she's like, "The wedding is off!" The wedding planner. She's like, "Well, I can't believe I planned all of this and there's not going to be a wedding. What a waste!" And then Frankie pulls up and he's like, "It doesn't have to be wasted."
Oh my
and he
god,
proposed, he comes up to Vanessa and he's like, "I love you. Will you marry me?" And so she says yes, and then they get married. Their marriage thingy, it looks like, the end of those horror houses that are like really judgment houses, the Christian horror house?
Yeah.
It looks like the end scene where you're in heaven. It looks like that. And that's the end. No, that's not the end. No, there's the reception where everyone's dancing, and then Vanessa forgives her mom.
Oh no.
Then it's the end.
Leave.
But no, the reason why I said the fact that he's dark skinned is important is because if you've ever seen season 3, episode 6 of The Boondocks,
I have not.
it is basically, they put on a play that is a parody of Tyler Perry's plays, because if you didn't know that,
You told me about that.
all the movies were plays. The Family Reunion was a play, it became a movie. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a subplot about their neighbor Isaac and his dad, but it gets cut, but we still see them occasionally in like random scenes. Like I was saying, season 3, episode 6 of The Boondocks, they put on a play, and it's a parody it's basically based off of a Medea's play, only Huey narrates like what the play is all about, and it's basically like this lady basically it's a parody of Tyler Perry's other film, which is called Tyler Perry's Medea's Diary of a Mad Black Woman, which just sounds like it was made by racist people, but we're not gonna talk about that anyway. Basically, in the parody within the film, a woman is cheated on by a specifically dark-skinned black man, and then she has a light-skinned gardener who shows her the meaning of love. And like there's one scene where the light-skinned gardener is like, "I'm a light-skinned gardener and I love Jesus." That's why the fact that the abusive man in family reunion is specifically dark-skinned.
I am dark-skinned and bald, so I hate you and I hate Jesus.
And then Frankie is specifically light-skinned.
I never thought I'd ever be with a man so loving and light-skinned.
And I will always be light-skinned just for you.
It's important is because Tyler Perry is a colorist man. A lot of the criticism against this movie is pretty valid. I can't say that the criticism against Tyler Perry is valid entirely just because I don't know much about other films. I can only judge based off of this one. This one, they're kind of on the money with that. I see your points. Cinematography, pretty flat, pretty bland. Editing, whack. You know that Vine? His hair, whack. Or I guess in this case, it would be like, his editing, whack. His cinematography, whack. His story, whack. That soundtrack was tight as fuck. Because that was actually a pretty good soundtrack. Performances were also really good too. Everybody was like, they were like, we are gonna act in this movie. And they did. Despite its issues, I do see why the Madea films were and are successful. You know, they're definitely entertaining. Medea's family reunion focuses on family and community, not institutions of racism, and that's pretty uncommon for a film centered on the African American experience. Because responsibility for explaining the harm of racism and oppression is often pushed on POC in pretty much every facet of life. You know, people of color are expected to educate their friends, classmates, and coworkers on racism and its harmful effects, as if institutional racism isn't a white invention. Obviously, there are some serious problems with this film, like nothing that I really feel like I have the right to speak on, because again, I'm a white bitch from the suburbs. But if you'd really like to see a scathing criticism of the issues with Tyler Perry's films from an African-American perspective, I recommend Kenny JD did a Bad Movies in a Beat video on Tyler Perry's film Acrimony. It's actually a really good video. I mean, I love all her videos, so I guess maybe I'm biased, but she talks about her issues with Tyler Perry, and I think that's definitely, like, also a way to see criticism from the perspective of someone who's actually in the community. I guess some, like, key takeaways from this video is representation matters. We need more films about people of color that aren't focused on overcoming or battling racism. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you whenever I see you next.
I can say it is.